Ladies and gentlemen, President Mohamed Loutfi.
It's getting a bit emotional here. Honored guests, good afternoon. Chair of the Board of Trustees, thank you for such a warm introduction, and thank you for such a warm introduction from everyone that spoke today. Standing in this wonderful hall here today and being honored this way is a very humbling and somewhat an overwhelming experience for me. I will start by recognizing our distinguished guests who honored us by their presence here today, and others that were unable to join that are watching this through streaming. Ministers, university presidents, members of the House of Parliament, society leaders, trustees, alumni, distinguished academics, colleagues, honored guests, friends and family, friends, old friends and new friends, not only from Egypt, but many of you have traveled far afield to be with us here today. In particular, I'm grateful to you. We are all aware of the difficulties that the current pandemic has created into international travel. Your gift of your valued time is priceless. The only word I can find to say here is, and to express my gratitude to you all, is it's an amazing being able to stand before you and share this special moment in time, for me, at the British University in Egypt. I'm proud to have been chosen to be part of this community. I particularly want to recognize and thank people who have played a role in my life. The time doesn't allow me to name you all, but I'm sure you will all know in your hearts the gratitude I feel towards you all. I do want to recognize my loving family, my wife Heba, who has supported me over the years, without whom I wouldn't be standing here today. It was a long journey for both of us. Last month was our 30th wedding anniversary. My son Niall, my son Yusuf, who couldn't make it with us today, and my younger son Nail, who is here with me today, both inspire me, and I continue to learn a lot from both of them. Nail, I bet this will come as a surprise to you. Do you recall during the pandemic when I asked you what a university community means to you? Your response surprised me and got me thinking. You said, and I'm quoting you here, this is an implicit lesson for you, proper quoting, son, and referencing. You said, if I talk to a classmate during the lecture and they respond, there is a trust or a bond that is created at this moment in time. And this classmate will be the first on your list when choosing who to work with in a group assignment. I never thought of it this way. And that image of trust and communication has stayed with me and shaped my thoughts. I also owe a great debt to my parents, who were a constant source of encouragement and support to me. My late father always believed in globalization without even defining it. He gave me the opportunity to be a global citizen myself. I lived and studied in 5 countries and worked in more than 20. When I was growing up, I learned certain values from my parents: integrity, empathy, self-discipline, easier said than done. My father was a hard worker, and the quote that would always remind me of him: the success you take from your life will be equal to what you put in. This puts everything in clear perspective to me. And I've learned confidence from my mother. She never feared to buck the trend or go against the grain. She always believed in doing what was right. I also want to mention certain figures that inspired me throughout my career. I'll start by Professor Issam Salem, who's the former president of Alexandria University, who is a key role model for myself and for many. In my 20s, I used to run for Alexandria Sporting Club elections, and he was always there for me. And he used to say, I'm not here to support Mohammed in the elections as he worked for Alexandria University. I'm here to help prepare a future university president. This always resonated with me. The late Mr. Adel Al-Sunusi, the former president of Alexandria Sporting Club, his golden advice was, love people even if they hate you. They will learn to love you one day. Professor Mustafa Hassan, Professor Sharif Andil, when I was contemplating about going to the UK for my doctoral studies, they said, you can either choose to be a big fish in a small pond or a small fish in a large pond. I chose the latter and never regretted it. Professor Alfredo Moscardini, sitting with us here today, he was not only my supervisor, my director of studies and mentor, but he taught me how to think systemically, not systematically. Many do not understand the difference, and this was a paradigm shift in my development. Professor Hossam Badrawi, mentoring is not an easy task. He always believed in me and supported me. Professor Peter Fidler, the former Vice Chancellor of Sunderland University. Professor Ustin Ergeder, Seibold Norde, the former presidents of the Magna Carta Universitatem, and my friend David Locke. Being with them on the Council of the Magna Carta Universitatem for eight years shaped my understanding to higher education. Dr. Andries Barblan, the Secretary General of CRE, Council of Rectors of Europe, that became at a later stage EUA, the European University Association, who made me think of what is expected from a university, not from our view as academics, but from the society point of view. Professor Anthony Chapman, Vice Chancellor of Cardiff Metropolitan University, who believed in me. I can't start by describing our relationship. To put it in simple words, he shaped the person I am today. Professor John Latham, who I'm grateful to on many fronts, but most importantly, for getting me to recognize that being dyslexic is a strength, not a weakness. We are simply wired differently, and with differentiation comes innovation. Last but not least, Professor Hossam Badrawi, Professor Ashraf Hatem, Professor Ismail Abdel Ghaffar, Professor Ahmed El-Gohari, and General Muhammad Abdullah, who are not only friends, but also played a role when I was making the decision to return back to Egypt. And many people across the path that believed in me and supported me. I approached today's installation as president of the British University in Egypt with a sense of both honor and humbleness. I was happy and fulfilled at Coventry University, both personally and professionally. And I'm asked repeatedly now about my decision to return to Egypt, and more specifically to the BUE, and my answer has always been the same. It's an opportunity to make the sort of real and lasting impact that I have prepared for my entire life. I want to thank the Board of Trustees, especially the Chair, the Minister of Higher Education, for their confidence in me, and to members of the university community for their welcoming embrace over the last 3 months. You've been wonderful, and I sincerely appreciate it. Perhaps now it's a good time to mention my predecessors as president. I have had many colleagues tell me about the wonderful work of all of them. Today we have with us Professor El Feki and Professor Hamza, and also to those that cannot be here with us and have been an important factor in the success of this university. Thank you all. I believe we should be all incredibly grateful for the work of those who have traveled the path before us to get us here. Please share with me a round of applause for these trailblazers. The British University in Egypt is a well-established university. I often refer to it as the world's best-kept secret. But what makes a great university? That's a question. And here I will quote Jamil Salmi, in my view, one of the great thinkers of modern higher education. Jamil, who some of us know personally, argued that the world-class university gives the rise to highly sought graduates and leading-edge research and technology transfer, and requires 3 features: talent, which is the critical mass of staff and students to develop innovation; resources, which is the finances and facilities for rich learning environment; and governance, which is the leadership and management and administration to develop this and deliver a strategic plan. But most importantly, it's the values. As individuals or as an institution, what are our values? Who we are? What do we believe in? What do we stand for? Who do we work with? When and how do we want to make an impact? And what do we expect from ourselves and others? For me, it all started in 2004 at the Global Integration of Graduate Programs Conference. I used to run this with Professor Alfredo Moscardini in different cities across the world, starting from Sunderland, Irkutsk, Donetsk, Split, Amman. Conversions through education, and this is following from what Ambassador Bailey said. Conversions through education was suggested as the conference theme by Andries Barbland, the Secretary General of the Magna Carta at the time. This was a line of thought, as universities are expected to be at the forefront of modernizing the society by pushing the boundaries of science and researching into the unknown, and to ensure that societies are prepared for tomorrow. In that sense, universities might well as be the platform for conversions through education, to facilitate the intercultural discussions leading to a mutual understanding of the needs of societies and cultures between different areas across the world. We live in a world burdened with conflict, and I have been dwelling on how can we, as higher education community, work towards this noble objective, conversions through education. Following from this, I was influenced with my tenureship at the Magna Carta Universitatum Board. The Magna Carta is an essential document that celebrates the deepest values of university traditions and especially cherishes academic freedom and institutional autonomy as the foundation of the knowledge society. Universities are under great pressure these days than ever before to perform well in many regards, and the Magna Carta maintains that one of the prime factors to enable universities to do well is that they have sufficient freedom to set their own targets and define their own strategies. To me, innovation is a function of creativity, and creativity is a function of the culture of dissent, to argue and to assimilate, which is a direct outcome of academic freedom. During the past few months as president, I have spent much of my time learning about this exceptional place. I have had the pleasure to meet and speak with hundreds of people, warm, friendly, dedicated, proud, supportive, enthusiastic, and result-focused people. And many of you know I've spent a lot of time asking a lot of questions. What do we do well? What are colleagues worried about? What are people most proud of? How can we continue the journey of this institutional improvement? First seek to understand, then be understood, quoting St. Francis of Assisi. I will continue to listen to the views of everyone who has stake in our community as I formulate my plans to ensure the growth and sustainability of this wonderful place. You know, it's easy to join an organization and make assumptions. I've seen firsthand where new leaders have come in with preconceived notions about change that needs to be implemented, only to find out that their understanding of how a place ticks is not complete. Of course, it's inevitable that some things need to change, but there is often good reasons for why some things are the way they are. Most importantly, why are we doing things in the way we're doing them? And this is the core of system thinking, unlocking our minds of dormant prepositions. During my first 100 days at the British University in Egypt, we have focused on building confidence in the competence of leadership of the British University administration, and on formulating an organic and inclusive vision of excellence and shared transparent government. We started recruiting top quality leadership team from across the world, worked on empowering our best leaders, reflected on our previous strategic plan, launched a portfolio review and an establishment review to enable us to build a sustainable fiscal strategy and a budget process. Also, we supported consortium of like-minded academics in Egypt and abroad, building on the momentum of major societal initiatives like the Sustainable Development Goals, renewable energy, and Hayat Karima. And I would like here to thank Professor Hisham Al-Askari for agreeing to support our Hayat Karima working group initiated by our brilliant academics. My vision for the future of BUE revolves around 4 strands. The first strand is our identity as the British University in Egypt. It's our most distinguished asset and greatest competitive edge. For now, this is how we will be known, the British University in Egypt, not BUE. Second strand, in our strategic direction, which includes our purpose, which revolves around creating global citizenship fit for employment in the global marketplace, and shared priorities that fulfill our social contract with the society. But more importantly, capturing the values within the institution, culminating in a can-do attitude, the British University way. Third strand is aligning the strategy and tactics for the British University in Egypt. Tactical thinkers are about doing things right, while strategic thinkers are about doing the right thing. In other words, we will be doing things right and doing the right thing at the same time in the BUE. Strategy without tactics is the slowest route to victory. Tactics without strategy is the noise before defeat. Quoting Sun Tzu. Final strand, which is aligning all our staff with the purpose. It is about all staff in the institution knowing the direction of the university and the direction of travel and feeling or knowing that they can contribute to this happening. We are living through challenging times, and we at the British University in Egypt are embarking on our new strategy. These are exciting times for us, and I'm always reminded with the quote from Michelangelo, the greatest danger is not to aim too high and miss it, but it's to aim too low and achieve it. In other words, we will aim high and we will achieve it. In short, our intermediate and long-term goals are ambitious but achievable. And my promise to this wonderful institution is, I will strive to continue to work with you all to create a clear purpose, to doing the right thing, and to putting the concerns of our students and staff at the forefront and center of what we do. This institution will earn the right to be the first choice for undergraduate and postgraduate education in communities and societies they serve. We will be going on a journey together by living up to the expectations of our founder, the industrialist Mohamed Farida Khamis. Referred to by many as a force of nature, whose intention for this institution was to be the best in class. He described the British University in Egypt as the most important factory, the factory of men that will help build the nation, placing humankind at the center of his focus, which is aligned with the definition of a university. In Latin, a university is universitas, unim verter, it's turned to the one. Ad unim verter, it's placing man at the center. And man here, it refers not only to a gender, but humankind, all of us. I'm confident, but by placing humankind, el-insan, our students, and by placing the students' experience at the heart of what we do, we will achieve great things. بناء الإنسان أولوية للسيد الرئيس لبناء جمهورية جديدة. Thank you.